First off, I want to thank the brave men and women who work behind the wall. I want to thank them on a national level because their job goes unrecognized.
How do they try to turn a guard?
Well, correctional officer. Sorry, I apologize. But correctional officer. How you guys doing today? It's Anthony Gangi. Welcome to another episode of Tier Talk. I'm going to forward the show over to Luis Soto. He's a current college professor but retired major from the State Department of Corrections. And he's going to give his input on how to deal with a loss. Basically, how do we deal with our coworkers being taken from us from COVID? This is a very good, needed discussion. Thank you, Soto, for putting it out there. So I'm just going to forward the video right to you. Go ahead, Lou. Welcome, guys. Retired Major Luis Soto here, also Rutgers professor. Just giving you an update on this COVID crisis here in the state of New Jersey. I'm home today, taking a well-deserved rest after a really tiresome week, helping out at the facility that I work at, dealing with inmates and parolees alike. It's been a nice but arduous struggle this week. We lost one of our counselors that works for us to this COVID crisis, which is very tough on staff. So I wanted to talk to you about that and being prepared for the losing of a staff member, which is very, very, very hard on the rest of the working staff that probably are going to be hit hard with these realities of this crisis. As far as the department is concerned, you know, we have different venues that we can use, and all correctional departments have some sort of response to crisis such as this one. Where they have counseling services available. People may come in, professionals and experts that will talk to staff and be available to talk to staff to try to cope with the loss of a coworker. And I can dare to say loved one, because the people that we work with every day in and out is they become family. They become family. I personally lost a friend to this crisis as well, who just retired this past December. And again, the heartache is not just losing the person, it's also not being able to give them a good send-off, being that funeral homes and even cemeteries have these prohibitions where only maybe one person can be present at the funeral home as well as at the cemetery. And it's very hard for people not to be able to give a proper send-off to our co-workers. But even when you're going back to work and you hear the bad news, it can have a real tough effect on the rest of your staff. And morale obviously takes a dive, and it's kind of hard for your overall facility to continue to work at the same level and speed as you were before, as you're working through this crisis. And sometimes we don't think that it'll affect the inmate population, but you have to understand that we're role models for them as well, and that the inmate population gets used to seeing this staff, and especially if the staff has been there for a number of years, it can affect them as well. So these are things that we need to think about, have a thought about, and, you know, ensure that we're there for each other. We definitely have to try to cope with issues and problems like these, whether the department responds to it or not. We are our brother's keeper, so we need to help our fellow correctional professionals to ensure that they're okay, and, you know, help them grieve and go through this process. Again, it was just thoughts that came to my mind as I'm sitting here at home trying to take a rest and get ready to go back to work on Sunday. So please, I need you guys to stay safe, stay focused, and keep an eye on each other. As always, God bless.